Okay, so welcome. I know I say okay every time. The other day I was thinking every single video you do, you start it and you say okay. It's because I'm always multitasking. I'm getting the YouTube set up or I'm getting Facebook set up. And anyway, it's kind of crazy. But welcome, everybody. Today is February the 14th, 2021. It is Valentine's Day. And so just know that if nobody else loves you, I do. And God does. So that's all you need, right? But I hope you've had a great day. I know my husband and I rode down and brought a little Valentine's flower to my mom, and she just appreciated it so much. So, there's so many people we love in our life, not just our sweethearts. So I hope you've had a really fun day and a fun weekend. I know a lot of you are really freezing right now. So I know I won't whine with my 48 degree when y'all are sitting there in 0 degree because I know you're a lot colder than me. So anyway, thank you for the kind words, Shannon. I appreciate that. And so you guys feel free to chat it up tonight as I ask questions, and I'll glance over there as I can and kind of respond as well. So y'all, believe it or not, this is our last week of this particular series of the Boss Babe Warrior Girl. This is week number 6. Did y'all realize that? I mean, I'm like, hey, wait, we're done. And so I'll tell you what's been cool about it is, for me as the one that does the Boss Babe calls, it's nice to already know what I'm going to be talking about. And so to have something fresh to say. So we're going to try to not let you down next week. I don't know what it's going to be on, but I have an idea. I am going to listen to watch the Feel the Power workshop that's going on. That's Glory Mayfield Banks and Pam Shaw and a bunch of nationals are doing it. So I'm sure we'll have some really good stuff to tell you. But anyway, so tonight is week number 6. I am brave. And so what is the battle? It is the battle of fear. And you guys, that is a big fat one in Mary Kay, isn't it? And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some tips for you to be more brave. And so let's start out with the Bible verse that says, be strong and brave, for you will be a successful leader of my people, and they shall conquer all the land I promised to their ancestors. You need only to be strong and courageous and to obey every law Moses gave you. For if you're careful to obey all of them, you will be successful in everything you do. And that's in Joshua 1:6. And of course, we've been talking about that battle of Jericho and all the lessons you can get from it. The Bible is full of lessons that you can learn for every day. That's why it was written, for us to learn from it, right? It's not just a storybook. And so I've loved the study in Joshua. So if you didn't have time to read it, go through and read Joshua 1 and read through the first couple of chapters of Joshua so you can see that. I think you would really benefit from it. So God commands Joshua to be strong and brave in his leadership. So number one in our workbook says, why is it important? Why is it important to you to be brave? And I want y'all to just comment on here. And I'm going to wait and tell you what I think. And I'm going to kind of tell you something as I see some comments, and I'll read those as well. But, I was thinking about the difference in men and women, boys and girls. Okay. There's obvious differences. But, boys, they have to learn to be brave a lot sooner than girls, because if not, they would never ask a girl on a date. And, think about that. They have to learn to face their fears at a young age to go on that very first date. And even if it's some kind of little sweetheart, ride the hayride or something, in 6th grade, little boys, they still ask. Now, I know girls this day and age, they ask too. But, back in my day, the boys asked the girls, unless it was what we called, I can't remember what we would call it, where the girls asked the boys. Somebody will remember and tell me. But anyway, they had to learn to suck it up and ask, and they had to risk being rejected, right? They had to risk being rejected. And so, but if they never asked, they would never go on a date, right? They would just wonder. Now, that's where the little notes would go around, where they would pass a note and say, I like you. Do you like me? Check yes or no, and slide it under the door. And you guys, I can remember, this is hilarious, but I think I was in 3rd grade, and this boy wrote that and put it, or I might have done it. I don't even remember which way it went. Stupid, but it was one of those, I like you. Do you like me? Check yes or no. And somehow I thought, I kind of feel like I did it. what in the world? I think I slid it under our classrooms, and I had his name on it. Now, why wouldn't I think the teacher wouldn't pick that up and look at it? I was I was humiliated in that. And so, I don't know if Ricky Hazlett did like me or not, because he never got the note. Instead, they read it in front of everybody. One of those most embarrassing moments in third grade. And so anyway, so through life, you have been brave in a lot of different things. I know you have, because if you just think about your life and all the things that you have done, no matter how old you are, and in Mary Kay, you're at least 18 years old, right? And so we've had Sadie Hawkins, thank you. And so you've had to do some things like that. So some of the things it says, what does being brave mean to you? It says to be able to face your fears on the daily, be it Mary Kay or Sadie Hawkins. That's right. Be brave to get over your fears. And so you're not paying attention to distractions. And so these are very, very good. And so one of the things that, exactly what y'all are saying is why is it important to be brave is number one is to overcome fear. And that's the battle we're going to talk about this week. Number two is also to inspire other people to be brave. And then also it gets you out of your comfort zone. It gets you out of your comfort zone. And so everything's a little scary at first. When you think about in Mary Kay, you sign up. Okay, that's kind of scary in itself because you think, what if I really stink? Okay, so then hopefully the person who's talking to you says, well, at the worst, this is what we used to say, the worst that could happen to you is that not one single person, not anybody, not even your mother, sister, or grandmother would buy one single thing from you. And you would sell not one item. And you could send all that product back that you purchased. You would lose 10%. That's the very worst thing that would happen to you because Mary Kay has a 90% buyback, right? So even if you sell, let's say you came in with a $600 order and you sell at least $60, you're in the good. So for me, I actually thought through that process. What if I really stink? Although I really knew that my mother and my two aunts loved Mary Kay. So I knew that I would have at least 3 customers. But it's still scary starting something new. But when you made that first phone call to book your first party, that's scary because, and we're going to talk about that. What are the things that you fear? Okay. But your first party, the first time you ask someone if you could talk to them about the business, that's kind of scary as well, but you guys did it anyway. And this last year, we've had a lot of firsts. A lot of you have never, until 2020, you never have gone live on the internet, on Facebook, like never. And you never really wanted to, but you made yourself. And that is scary the first time you do it. Some of you have never learned technology like getting on Zoom, right? And you thought, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to, but you did it. So a lot of you have already faced a lot of fears and learned how to work your Mary Kay business in a pandemic year and the crazy couple, but it's already been a year. We're going on year 2 in a few months, in a few weeks. But I want you to think about this. Number 2 is how do you feel when you see someone else being brave? How do you feel when you see someone else being brave? And I thought about something that was in high school. And there was a swimming pool that my family would go to. It was at the country club, and they had this high dive. I mean, really, really high. I don't even think they make high dives anymore for just the general public, but they did. And it was really high. I mean, like, I don't know how high, but y'all remember how the high dives used to be. And I remember the very first time I was going to do it. But my brother, he went up there and he did it first. And of course, I always called him fearless. He just climbed up there. He ran to the end. Not only did he jump off, he jumped up and then dove. And so I thought, I waited till he came up. I'm like, all right, he didn't die. So maybe I can do it. All right. So I ran and jumped off the high dive. Well, and then this whole high dive thing later in high school, I remember we went on this, those of you that live down in this area, there's this place called Itchituckney. It's a spring. And there's a place in Blue Springs you can go to, and there's a tree, and there's wooden slats on it all the way up to this small little ledge where you jump off of it. And I remember the first time I did that, I was scared to death, and I did it. And then I went to college and in Arkansas, and they had these bluffs, and everybody would just run and jump off the bluff into the water. And this was really high. And I'm thinking, when will this high thing end, But I did it because I saw someone else do it first. And then I remember when we won the top director trip, and well, actually even before that, but they had this zip lining where you get on this thing and you jump off a board, this, platform, and the only thing's holding you is this wire, and your the cables on you. And I thought, but I saw the people before me, and I thought, all right. And usually it's someone like older than me or whatever. And I thought, if she can do it, I can do it, right? So it does inspire you when you see someone else do it. So, and most of you are saying that too, it gives you courage. If they can do it, you can do it. And it empowers you that it can be done. So I want you to think about something. Not only when you're brave, it's going to, someone is watching you do it. And someone is saying, well, if I saw her do it, then I might do it. And guess who that someone could be? It could be your own personal team member. Like if she saw you do a Facebook party, then she might be brave enough to do it, or a Zoom party. But if she still hadn't seen you do it, you're the person she looks up to, right? So she needs to see you do it, so she would do it. Now, some people, you're the one that you have to go first. And that, there's times all of you probably have been that girl that everybody's waiting on you to do it. Okay. And you do it, and you're scared, but you're like, your back's against the wall and you have to do it, like put up or shut up, right? And so you go ahead and take that jump, or you make that call and you do it. And then everybody says, all right, if she did it, I'm going to do it. So you know what? Sometimes you're the girl in the back waiting, and sometimes you're the girl in the front, and you've got to do it. And so it feels good both ways, right? So when you, when you see someone else being brave, it does inspire you, and it makes you want to be brave. And when you stop being brave, it's often because you engage in that battle of fear. So I want to talk about, what do you fear the most in your Mary Kay business? And you can just type it in the chat. What do you fear the most in your Mary Kay business right now? And so, and I'm gonna look over here on YouTube, see if anybody's on here making any comments. Sometimes I see them and sometimes I don't. Here we go. Okay, so if y'all want to type in, I'll just put a few things that I feel like, okay, failure. That's one of the things I wrote down, is one of the things that you fear in Mary Kay in your business is failure, that you will fail your team members even. Some people fear rejection. And Jenna said that. She knows I did early on. And I think everybody, that's one of the ones I put here, fear rejection. Who else can think of something that you fear in your business? One of the things that I always think about is you fear looking stupid. I mean, just to put it simply, you don't want to look stupid. Like, for example, doing one of these lives, you don't want to look like you don't know what you're doing, right? Because you want to be confident, and to do something you've never done, it may not work exactly like you think, right? And so for anything, even doing a party, remember when we used to do in-home parties back in the day? That first time, I mean, you're standing up there with the flip chart and you want to look smart, not stupid, right? And I know stupid's like a hard word on that, but that fear of looking silly, or like you don't know what you're doing, right? And of course, we've talked about that. We got to go back to that chapter about being confident, and that's to be prepared and, educate yourself. And there's some things, a way to do that. And someone said that one of their biggest fears is missing goals. So, and that's a good one to point out, because sometimes if you don't set goals, because if I don't set any, then I won't miss any. And I'm certainly not going to tell anybody my goal, because if I tell it and then I miss it, then I'd be so embarrassed, right? So all of that really has to do with fear. Another one that no one's put yet is, okay, someone said not succeeding as others see you as always successful. That's very good. There's another one too. Some people have a fear of success, that they would make it, but not be able to keep it. For example, they want to win a car, but what if I win a car and then my team all quits and then my car goes back? I'd be so embarrassed. Okay. Or what if I become a director and then everybody on my team quits and then I'm not a director anymore? So that'll hold you back too. Like, I don't want to be too successful, because then what if it's a fluke and I can't keep it? All right. So a lot of that stuff goes on in our little on our little head in the battle of fear. And then a question in the workbook says, do I fear the process more than or the result more? Which one? For example, do I fear making the booking call? Because if I made the booking call and she actually said yes, I'd have to actually go do the party. So if I don't make the booking call, then I never have to do a party. So think about that. Which one do you fear the most? Like if I book a sharing appointment, what if she said, yeah, I'll listen to you. And then you think, I don't know what to say, right? I remember when I first got in Mary Kay, they would talk about, my director would say, you just need to share the marketing plan. And I just thought, what is the marketing plan? If someone would give me something that says what the marketing plan was, I'd be glad to share it. I just didn't even understand the concept of sharing the marketing plan. And it was till like months later, and they're like, it just means, I finally asked the question because you don't want to feel stupid, right? So I didn't want to ask the question, what is the marketing plan? I just thought, surely at some point I'll figure out what the marketing plan is. I figured it was like this whole plan, like a piece of paper that said marketing plan. And so, of course, now we have that, right? I mean, Mary Kay gives us so much stuff just to go write down. So you want to write down your affirmation, your brave affirmation. And so some of you that wrote it down, I would love for you to type it out if you did it. But a simple one is, I am brave in my Mary Kay business and getting braver every day. Okay. So it doesn't have to be complicated. Someone put on here is one of the fears is having a Zoom and no one gets on it. Hey, listen, let me just go ahead and tell you, that's going to happen. So don't be afraid of that, because that is going to happen. Sometimes, like, you might have a Zoom, no one gets on there. And so what I would suggest is I always stream to my Facebook group, because even if no one's on there, I pretend they are. And I pretend they're watching on Facebook. Just like if none of y'all got on here tonight, I would do it anyway. And I just thought, well, they'll listen to it later. And so really, in Mary Kay, and like if it's a hostess, I mean, I understand that. And honestly, I sometimes would, if, I might wait 5 or 10 minutes, nobody gets on there, then I just go in the meeting. And then I'll get on the phone and make some phone calls, So that is going to happen. We've all had it. We have all had it where we went to the girl's house and then she don't even answer the door, and we're supposed to be doing a party, right? Or we get really cute. They're supposed to come to our house and they never show up. So it is going to happen. But I always used to say, have you ever canceled on the dentist? I have. Have I ever canceled, changed an appointment? Yes. So it does happen. That don't mean I hate my dentist. It just means I didn't feel like going that day, right? So that's something to think about too. So it says, when I'm brave in my bookings, what would that look like when you're brave in your bookings? And so if you're brave in your bookings, then you're going to ask without the fear of what the answer is going to be. And I want you to think about what we've talked about many times before, is about the 100 no's. And that's really one of the things that can overcome the fear of getting on the phone and asking for bookings. Because if you don't care, I mean, you care, but if they say yes or no, it's okay, you win. If they say no, you got your little piece of paper and you can put, Susie, no. Okay, that's one. Great. I got to get another one. And if she says yes, well, hallelujah, I got a booking. But it's either way. So it's a yes or a no. It's not a success or a failure. You're just going through the numbers. And we know that about the numbers. Like if you ask a certain number of people, you're going to get some yeses. It's just a matter of how many, is it going to stop you? How many are you going to do before you go, I'm not going to do anymore? Jana says, if you call enough people, you don't have time to worry about the no's. That's so true. Here's an affirmation. Maureen says, today I'll be a force to be reckoned with as I move forward, not stopping till the work is finished, because I love my life and I want to share it with all the women who want more from their life. That is a great affirmation. Maureen, good job, girl. Mary Kay used to say that you just need 3 seconds of courage. Now, she used to say this when we were what we used to call chatterbooking or warm chatter, where you would go out and you see a sharp lady. And, it's kind of funny, isn't it? Like, now, like in some areas, like in the South, we still talk to people we don't know. But there's some areas where it's weird to talk to people that you don't know. And really before Mary Kay, you might feel that way. But now you're like, I got to go talk to her. And so I'm telling you what, I did this just this week. Thursday, I went to eat with lunch with my husband, and we live on this place is a country club, and they have a restaurant. And so on Thursdays, they have a buffet. Well, we were going through the buffet line, and this lady, real pretty blonde haired lady, sharp dress, and she goes, "Hey," she said, "Hey, I saw you here last week." I said, "Hey," well, I just said, "Oh, hey," and I really, that's all I said. So we're going through the line, and I was saying something about how good the fried chicken look, and just whatever. And I said, "You need to come on Sundays because it's really, really good then." And then anyway, she goes, sits down with another girl who's really cute. So Brad and I ate, and I thought, I've got to go over there and speak to her. And I thought, he said, as we were ready to go, I said, "I'm fixing to go over there and meet that lady." So you guys, I get up and I go have my business card in my hand, and I walk across the restaurant, and I go over there and I said, "Hey, I said, I just want to come introduce myself to you." I said, "You're so sharp looking." And, when you spoke to me, she said, and she told me who she was. She goes, "I met you last week when you were here." And I'm like, "That's right." Oh, and so I met her last week. I sat right by her. She was with a group of ladies, but for some reason she didn't look like that same lady, right? And so she's a realtor. So anyway, I said, "Girl, that's right." I said, "I don't know why you look different this week than last week." I mean, I tried to cover it, and I'm like, "Well, listen, I just want to give you my business card anyway." And so then I friended her on Facebook, and it took a while, but just last night she accepted it. And so what am I going to do now? I'm going to reach out on Facebook. I'm going to message her and say, "Hey, listen, I just didn't know if you've ever tried Mary Kay. I don't know what kind of makeup you use, but I would love to give you some free samples." Okay. That's what I'm going to do. But I had to still get up. And I know y'all, you think that people that once they become directors, it's no big deal, but I still had to get up, walk across the restaurant, interrupt their meal, and introduce myself. And I thought, I'm doing it. So you know what? That 3 seconds, that's all I needed, just to get up out of my chair with my card, and then I'm going. You can't stop me, right? And so I thought, what's the worst that's going to happen? And she'd already spoke to me. So, I mean, I knew she was a nice person. So anyway, that will be a story that's, continue later. But one of the things Mary Kay Ash used to do, she reminded us that all women are the same. And back in the day, we wore pantyhose. It was a requirement, you guys. Okay, so she would say, "Listen, all women are the same. Everybody puts their pantyhose on one leg at a time." She said, "I've never met any woman yet who could jump into a pair of pantyhose." And so she said, just think about that for a minute. So when you thinking about booking someone and you think, "Oh, she's all this," she said, she's still got to put her pantyhose on one leg at a time. And y'all know that isn't the most glamorous thing to do, is it, when you put your pantyhose on, right? And so she used to say that to us, and that she said that we are all that we're all the same. And she said we all, let's see, what did I even write here? Oh, she said the other thing is we all wake up looking one way, and then she used to say, "I wake up looking like Charles de Gaulle," and I remember thinking, I don't even know who that is. And then when she gets her makeup on, she looks like Elizabeth Taylor. That's her. That's her era, right? So basically, everybody wakes up and they don't look as cute as they do till after they put on their makeup, right? And they're Mary Kay. And so she said that everybody needs to feel loved, even the pretty people. Okay, so she talked about that one time, about how the pretty people, okay, the people that you might think, well, she is way more attractive than me, so I'm not going to go over there and pretend to talk to her about makeup because she already looks better than me. Okay, so Mary Kay used to talk to us about that, and she said, the pretty people in the world, not only do they need love too, but sometimes their looks are intimidating to other people, and they don't have as many friends as you might, because they seem to be unapproachable because of what they look like. And God gave them an extra measure of cuteness, I guess. And so she said, don't be afraid to go and speak to a beautiful woman. She said, because they need love just like you. Just remember, they put their pantyhose on one leg at a time. And it's just some of those things that you never forget that Mary Kay said. And so when you're booking, I want you to think about that. And so the next one says, when I'm brave in team building, what would that look like when you're brave in team building? And so one of the things I was thinking of is you go to a sharing appointment knowing that you're sharing with her something that possibly could change her life. I mean, you don't know, right? You don't know if this could be something that she really takes off and she is the next top director of Mary Kay. And then from that point to the day she retires, she is thanking you for offering that opportunity. You don't know. And that she may go, way higher than you. And if you think of it as giving her a gift when you're talking to someone about selling Mary Kay, I think that's going to give you more courage to talk about. And I'm going to give you an example tonight. We have a top director Voxer group, and one of the top directors got on there, and she said that her daughter was driving through Texas to San Antonio, and there was this blizzard in Texas, right? That, they'd never get, this in Texas. And she said, my daughter's really scared. She's never driven through snow and ice. And do any of y'all live in San Antonio or know anyone that lives in San Antonio? And y'all, within a few minutes, these directors start texting back and said, I live here. And then within a few minutes, she said, y'all, Mary Kay, the culture is untouchable. She said, within 30 minutes, I have a Mary Kay person that reached out that her daughter is going to her house and she's going to spend the night there that night. And, wait it out so she wouldn't be dangerous on the road. And so we have a family in Mary Kay that I'm telling you, let's say you're in another company, you just don't have that sisterhood that you can call and get that. Now, I know a lot of us that go to church, you may know some people all over like a church family and you have that too, but Mary Kay is just different because we have ways of reaching out. And I can't tell you how many times, like when there was the hurricane, Katrina and some different things and people were coming my way, and Mary Kay girls that I never knew would call me and say, can I come spend the night with you? I'm like, come on. And I remember one time it happened and my pipes got frozen. And so they cracked and I had to go over to my grandma's house and have them take a shower over there. But you know what? We took care of them. And to this day, when I see that girl at seminar, she remembers that. I was a young, new director, but we do have a culture. So think about some things like that when you're talking to someone about the business opportunity, because that'll make you proud of what we do. And you're just sharing with them. And if you share from your heart of what Mary Kay means to you and how it could benefit her, I don't think you'll be as scared, and just be yourself when you do it. So the next is when I'm brave and setting goals, what will that look like? Okay. Now, if you're a chicken and you're setting goals, what would that look like? That might be, well, I hope I sell $25 this week. Now that's about pitiful, isn't it? I mean, like, you're really stretching yourself, aren't you? That's not being brave. Okay. Anybody can sell $25 in Mary Kay in a week, right? And if you can't, you're simply just at home under your covers, not even trying. Okay. So a brave, maybe you've never had a $300 week. So you said, my goal is to have a $300 week and to talk to 3 people about the Mary Kay opportunity. And then once you really master that, say, all right, my goal is $1,000 a week, $1,000 a week every week. And I'm going to talk to 5 people a week or 10 people a week about the company. And so you're setting some goals that stretch you because you're brave, and you're not going to set wimpy chicken goals. My friend Deborah Bishop, that she passed away. She was a Mary Kay sales director. And when I used to go to her meetings, she had this rubber chicken. And it was literally like a rubber chicken, okay? And it was floppy. And anytime that she said people were acting negative or anything, she would hit us over the head with a rubber chicken. I mean, it wouldn't hurt us. Sharon's like doing it. She knows. You remember that, Sharon? And so, don't make us get the rubber chicken out on you, right? So you want to have something, a goal that when you achieve it, you have something to celebrate, right? If it's some wimpy, tiny goal, you'll be like, that was just, I was scared to say a decent sized goal. Does that mean you need to set something that's so unrealistic? Like if I said, my goal is to sell $20,000 next week. Okay, now, I'm not saying that's not possible, but that would be something that I might be setting myself up for failure unless I already had about 20 parties booked for next week, or that'd be $1,000 party at every one of them. Do y'all see what I mean? I'm not saying, the sky's the limit, right? But you want to set a stretch and then stretch and then stretch, because you want to be able to, that it is within your reach, if that makes sense. Okay. So how can you let go of fear? Really the biggest thing is to get into action. Inactivity is what breeds fear. And that's when you haven't done it so long. And I remember as a new director, I was on a roll right when I became a director. I had great people in my unit. Our unit started out doing great numbers. And then after about a year, I was in a spot where I'm like, Mary Kay sent me a letter and said, if you don't shape up, you're not gonna be a director anymore. And I was all in tears. Went back to my daddy. I asked him to get my job back. And he told me I already had a job, that I just need to go to work. And and so, and what it was, you guys, I had not done a party in 6 months for myself. Like, I had done some parties for my unit members, but I had stopped doing my own personal business. So I was not recruiting anyone on my own personal team, and my unit size kept getting lower and lower and lower. And so I had to make a decision that day. Am I going to let it go, or am I going to get to work? So I went to my unit meeting. I'm telling you the truth, as a director, I went to my unit meeting and I just confessed that I had not been working, and I knew that I hadn't. And I got my starter kit out. I dusted it off. I cleaned all my mirrors and trays, and I got it ready as if I had a party the next day. And then I made myself get back on the phone and do what I knew to do, what got me there. And that was to book, sell, and recruit. So even sales directors can get lax in their business. Consultants, you can get lax in your business too. But at the beginning, you're all fired up, you do some parties, and then you just set back in and you have a reorder business. I love reorders, don't get me wrong, but that doesn't build. Reorders are just there. You're not gonna ever get any bigger by just having a reorder business. So you want to take some action. And just this last week, remember last week we talked about when we say, I've had a great Mary Kay day. Remember we talked about that? And I said, every time you've ever said that, that is a day that you actually were in action, right? We talked about that. And so, and when you're in action, you're not afraid because you're making things happen, And so this week, even I remember calling Sayla. I said, Sayla, I had a great Mary Kay day. And I had a facial. She came over here and bought $409 worth of product. Thank you very much. An in-person facial. And then I had a new consultant orientation with a brand new consultant in my unit. It was a great call, sharp gal. I think she's going to be really good. And in case she's watching, Maxine, I'm talking about you. But it's just like, it was a great day because I put my business into action that day, and I felt very good and confident about the day. Another thing that was great is Saturday night, I decided to do a Galentine's bingo night. Okay, so I've never done bingo with Mary Kay like this, and it was a modified bingo. I saw it on, some of y'all do post my party, and so we're not gonna get into all that tonight, but there was this little post my party thing where you post for 3 or 4 days in a row, and then you have a live event on Facebook, and you have 20 items, and they have to pick 5 numbers. Anyway, long story short, I thought, I'm going to do it. I don't really know what I'm doing or how this is supposed to go because I've never seen anybody do it, but I did it. Moringa jumped on there with me, and it just turned out so good. And so I had, I don't know, about 17 comments of people that were on there, not 17 people, but about, I don't know, 8 people or so on there. But like, as soon as it was over, this one girl sent me an order, and it's about $150 just immediately. I said, Brad, because he said, you're done? I said, yeah. It was exactly 30 minutes. He said, well, that was fast. I said, I know it. And then I was sitting there with him, and I said, look, I just got an order. and I said, this is $150. And then since then, I've gotten other orders, and I've gave away some stuff, and I've talked to customers, and I think the next one will even be better. I gave them like 20% off if they order of any of the things that I talked about that they got. And then I did a couple of little drawings as well. But anyway, it was fun. And, I'm planning on doing it again. I had a lot of interaction on my Facebook page. They got their name in the drawing for every time they commented on anything. It was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, up until Saturday. So they got their name in the drawing. So that was kind of fun. And so anyway, I did record that bingo party, and I put it on YouTube so you could watch it if you wanted to and do one. It's not hard, basically. It's just like what we've been doing. But anyway, it was activity is what I'm saying. So even though the day, we did a lot of things that day, but I ended the day with a Mary Kay party and sales. And some customers that only buy a couple of things were on there. So I just think it's going to lead to a lot of good things. And my plan is to follow up on all of the people that were on there and see what they would like to order. So anyway, okay. I am going to, okay, so the last part of this, it says, this week I will show up with more bravery in my business by. So you're going to write down how you're going to be braver this week. And, just think about when you're calling and getting activity, calling and texting, you're approaching women like I did that day if you're out and about, just be a little braver with that and think about what we've talked about. Be genuine and just be kind and be authentic. Be yourself, because that's the best way. People like that. They like you to be yourself. And when you're yourself, you're going to make mistakes. We know that. So I want to tell you, I'm going to go over this. I had some, well, let me just tell you this. You know how I like to look up just in the business world, some other little things. So I looked up this one thing, and I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but it was said 5 ways to be brave in business. And I wanted to bring this up because it reminded me of another way. And this is written by Haley DePrado, and it's a Christian writer. And I'm assuming Haley is a woman, sounds like a woman, but she's a business coach. And she said, having a real business with clients, staff, and profits take courage. You have to be brave to step out in faith each time you make a decision to spend money on the next step in your business. And she said, as a business coach, she hears these questions all the time. When should I, and this is like someone that starts their own business, hire my first employee, get a real website, have an office outside of my home, invest profits back into my business. And then she talks about how you want to make sure that you are putting God first in your business and let him, it says we should fear God and we revere God. And in the same way we fear and revere God, we should also, she said, reverence is how I think of fear in business. We don't want paralyzing fear where we can't do anything, but we want a healthy fear or reverence that keeps us from making erratic, impulsive decisions that could put our finances and family in jeopardy. We need to trust that God cares about our business. We need to put him first in our business and seek his vision and will for it. Like Mary Kay said, God first, family second, career third. And then she just lists 5 ways to be brave. And I'm just going to mention those to you kind of quickly. And it may help you a little bit. So number 1, she said, we need to have a plan of what our business will look like at various levels of growth. And it says, no one seems to want to do this. I think it's okay to ask God what the business should look like when it grows. This includes what people should be in it, what systems will be required to create a foundation. Most importantly, what's the point of differences that will fuel our growth. And one of the things I was thinking about in Mary Kay when I read that is, as you grow in your business, there's a time that you think, and Mary Kay said it needs to be at the beginning, that you need to hire some help. Like she always said, you need to hire a housekeeper, even new consultants. You need to hire a housekeeper because it'd be better to pay someone, $50 or $100 to clean your house and you go out and make $50 or $100. It's a lot more fun to do a party than clean your house, right? And she said, if you don't have enough money to hire a housekeeper, you hire her anyway, and you tell her, I'm fixing to go do a party. When I get back, I'll give you the money. And she says, you'll always make it. And so she really encouraged that. And also even to hire an assistant and have someone help you. And in Mary Kay right now, there's lots of virtual assistants that you can hire. And, so it's scary sometimes to hire someone like that and commit yourself for a certain amount of money each month. But the benefits of having that helps you grow, because there's only so much you could do without any help. You ask any top director, and we all have people that help us because we can't do it all. So think about that. And then number 2, she said, put some numbers behind your plan. If you develop some budgets and break even revenue, it helps you know how you're really doing your business. I think new business owners don't want to know what they don't know won't hurt them, but actually in business, it can hurt you. If you aren't good at the numbers, get some help. If your business takes off, it's essential to understand the financial performance. How else can you make a confident decision about your next step in your business? Okay, so I was thinking about this, and we talk about in Mary Kay a lot of times is getting a plan of how much you want to make, how many parties it's going to take, and you can kind of look at how you want to grow that business, and by just kind of what is your average party? So if you've had some parties, let's say they're Facebook or Zoom parties, what's the average you sell? Go look at the last 5 you did and see what they are, divide them by 5, and then that's your average. And so if you know your averages, then you know how many you have to do to make a certain amount of money. And stuff like that, I know people don't want to do, just like this lady said, but it does help you. Number 3 was decide on a set income for yourself to work up to. It says one of the key things that gets a business owner stuck is taking all the profit out of the business. At first, you do it because you need some kind of income. Then you're catching up because you made so little for so long. Soon it's fun to have cash coming from your business. You want to enjoy being successful. Now you're used to a higher level of income personally, and you don't want to cut your own salary to invest the resources to take your business to the next level. That would be like hiring people. And so sometimes you have increased your personal standard of living such that you feel you have no choice. Decide up front and stick to it. And so I think that is an important thing too. Decide how much do you need to pay yourself from the Mary Kay business, and what does that look like to you? Number 4 is reinvest according to your plans. She said, being a good steward is important, and I believe we should be careful of debt. Retaining earnings in your business, using it to expand capacity as business is a good plan if you want to keep it growing. And one thing I thought about here is, as far as your inventory, one of the things people do is they embezzle all, like, let's say they come in, they have some inventory, and then they sell it, and they sell every bit of it, like every bit of it, and they're done. Like they spend every bit of it, and so now they're back to zero. They have no inventory and they have no money, and they're like, "Where's my money?" And so, Mary Kay, there's a lot of money management classes that you need to kind of look at as well. Is how, like, when you sell $100 of Mary Kay, it costs you $50. So let's say you have it on your shelf and you sell 100. Well, really, you should take the 50 and reorder it so you can have some inventory back on your shelf, unless you're working with zero inventory, which is not what I like to do. So look at that. And it is nervous sometimes to invest in your business like that. But then if you have a plan of going back and doing the parties so that you can repay your initial inventory and then keep a little, you're going to make money, but you're also going to reorder what you've ordered so that you have a little store. And, that's the individual of how much you want to keep. I'm one of the ones that started, and I just like to have everything on my shelf. And so the girl that came over the other day that bought $409, well, she walked out with everything that she ordered, and she's so happy. And, that's the way I choose to run my business. Now, some, you may say, I want to just order it and then they can get it and that's fine too. So, it's an individual thing, but something to think about. And then number 5 was just, now it's time to step out on faith. Even if you're growing and saving, it's still scary to grow to that next level, to spend your hard earned and save money, to have responsibility for more people, more expenses. It's hard and it's scary. And, it said it is scary, but the alternative is that you get stuck. You get stuck in a tight, uncomfortable place where you're the bottleneck and you have no more bandwidth. You can't grow because you can't do any more, at least not well. And if you stay where you are, eventually your arms will get too weary from stretching and holding the whole thing up by yourself. The trend will be the opposite of growth, but you can do this. You can be brave. You were brave when you quit your job or lost your job, because some of us that started Mary Kay, I decided I quit my job once I became a sales director, and that's a little brave as well, right? Says you were brave when you decided to try it on your own. It takes the same courage and it took the same courage and commitment to go out and get that first customer. It is scary, she says, but you are brave. So I thought that was worth sharing, just from another perspective of a businesswoman who's a coach to people that are like opening a storefront business, right? Or maybe a business out of their home. And it's you need to consider yourself that you do own your own business with Mary Kay. This isn't, it could be just a little old wimpy thing, or it could be like a business that would pay your bills. Okay. And if that's what you want it to be, you got to do a little bit more with it, right? Okay. So the very last page on the Boss Babe Warrior Girl, it says, after 6 weeks, it's time to celebrate your growth as a warrior. Take some time this week, maybe tonight when we get off, to reflect over the past 6 weeks and glance over the notes that you've taken every week. Rate yourself in the warrior questions and the warrior qualities. As we wrap up this series, think back over your faith-filled efforts the last few weeks. Write down examples of how you demonstrated these warrior qualities in your business, and then rate yourself on 1 to 10. And so if you remember, I am confident, I am disciplined, I'm bold, I am active, and I am brave. And so, and then at the bottom, it says, take a minute to describe who you are as a Boss Babe Warrior Girl. Use the present tense as you write, I am. And then it says, be specific as you write this special affirmation of who you are today. So you know what? Work on this one this week. The I am brave. And then evaluate yourself. You can do it tonight or at the end of the week, really, after this week. And then I pray that you have gained something out of this 6-week series. I'm very grateful for my friend Karen Rydell, who put it together and gave us a really nice track to run on for the first these 6 weeks. And there were some challenges in there And if you remember what they are, let's just go back, because I know some of you actually we're working on them. Okay. Some of you are like, well, yeah, I forgot about those challenges because I know how you are. Some of you. Okay. So the challenge was to earn your Spark Achiever jewelry in January and earn your Spark Achiever jewelry by February 15th, tomorrow. This is the necklace for this week, for this month. It is so pretty, you guys. Complete your virtual certification by practicing on at least 30 faces from January 1st to January 15th. Sponsor one new active team member. Hold at least 10 virtual or in-person parties by February 15th. So, you know, if you can do at least 3 of the 5, you get a special warrior gift at the end of the program. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to let your sales director know if you did 3 of those 5 and which 3 of the 5 that you did. And then I'm sure she would love to give you a nice little prize. So it kind of ends tomorrow. So you got a little bit of time. If you haven't done it, hey, you might need to go do 10 parties tomorrow, right? You can do it. That's a brave goal, right? So I'm going to let our sales directors kind of chime in. I'm sure they've got something to add to this tonight to end our Boss Babe Warrior Girl series. And I just want to thank all of you that stuck. If you've actually listened to all 6, I would love for you to comment that you've done all 6. And I'm really proud of you for not missing one. So go ahead and comment on that. And then I'm just going to pull up, Laree, you're up here first. Or Sharon, you're up here first. If you'd like to say something, I'll unmute you first. Or you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, great, thank you. I want to kind of go back a couple of days when you did the bingo party. That was so inspiring to me. And I put about 4 pages of notes like, now, Cletus, just read it on the back. That's all you have to do. Just read it on the back and say why you like it. You know, and I'm like, that made it so simple for me. And I just wanted to thank you for that. And I wanted to tell you a funny thing that Mary Kay used to say, if you ever heard it, all men are alike. God just changes the faces so you can tell them apart. And I always thought that was so funny. I quote that to my husband. He does not appreciate it, but
she did. She says that. She goes, all men are alike. Just put a bag over their head. The only reason they're like look different so you know which one's yours. That's what she said.
Thank you for the study. It was wonderful. I appreciate it so much.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Thank you, girl. Thank you so much. Okay, Laree, let me put you up here with me. Okay.
Hey, everybody. First of all, Cleta, you look beautiful tonight. Your makeup is spot on.
It's my curly hair.
But like you said earlier, you just need that, 10 seconds of courage. And, we all have moments in our life where, in our business where we just are a little bit down. And, sometimes you just need to get up and do some jumping jacks, get some excitement in your voice. And you just have to, pick up that phone that feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. But it's so rewarding when you do. You feel so much better about your business, and when you see the progress that you can make just by getting on the phone and starting. And so I just want to encourage you to be brave in your business. It's Valentine's Day, so love yourself enough to build your own confidence and be brave and just make some wonderful things happen in the month of February.
Yes, I love it. And I'm so glad that you're feeling better and you look beautiful in red. Yes, praise the Lord. And I hope Ken's feeling better too.
Well, we're working on him still.
We'll keep him on the prayer list.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Jana, let's get you up here. Here you go.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Everybody looks gorgeous tonight. Oh my gosh. Cleta, I don't know if it's that sweater, and your makeup, your lipstick looks amazing. Laree, and every one of you, each one of you consultants, I was just thinking you all look so beautiful. So happy Valentine's Day. I wanted to just say, Cleta, thank you so much for all of these powerful calls. Something that touched me earlier today that you said was you talked about, you have those fearful thoughts. Well, you know what? I know something that I've been doing in the last year has been powerful for me. And that is when I have a doubtful thought or a fearful thought or a negative thought, I have to just tell myself out loud, that's not right. That's not a right thought. And so I think that there's something to do, they say that whatever your mouth says, your mind goes to work believing. And so it's funny. It's like I'm just training myself. And I think that we can do that. Today I was having a doubtful thought because I thought about somebody that I'd contacted recently and I thought, she hasn't called me back. And then my brain started going, thinking all these well, what if she is thinking this? Well, what? And I said, that is wrong. That is a wrong thought. She just hasn't had time to call me. And so, you know, sometimes we just have to redirect ourselves. And you know what? Fear is false evidence appearing real. And so you guys can do it. Get into action, like Cleta said. So just so proud of each and every one of you that have been on these calls. Keep it up. Blaze a trail for other people, because you know what? Sometimes you are the only one that will go through the gate first, and then everybody else will follow. Okay. So go inspire people by your actions, your daily actions.
Yes, thank you so much, Jana. And you know, it's funny because all of you, all the sales directors on here, y'all inspire me too. You know, when I see y'all do it, I'm like, okay, that's good. I'm going to do that. You know, so we got to remember that we're all in this together. It's a sisterhood, and we're going to inspire each other. And being wimpy inspires no to the body, right? So we cannot be wimpy warriors. Warriors are not wimpy, right? So thank you, Jana. Thank you so much. Okay. Let me zip on over here on my top up here. All right, Connie Bush, I got you up here next, sister.
All right, I think I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
You are, yes.
All right, excellent. Oh my gosh, all of the Boss Babe 6 weeks of this Warrior Girls has been awesome. I have a couple of girls who are watching on YouTube, and they said, we can't comment. I'm like, well, comment here and I'll read it. And she said, Stephanie Stansel said, thank you, Cleta. It was such a great training. So I wanted to share that with you. I'm with Jana. I think that action is the key to everything. You know, when you get yourself into action, you know, I did the Super Bowl thing, and I had a $997 budget sales in 3 days. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, this was so exciting. And that just, when you have something like that go, when you get into action, then you just stay on the roll. It's like a snowball, right? It's a snowball effect. Once you just get started, it just keeps going and going and going and going as it's rolling down the hill, right? And I think the other analogy to it is an airplane taking off. You know, it takes so much work to get an airplane up into the air, but once it's up in the air, it kind of glides along. So all you have to do is get started, guys. You know, we do a Bible study with a couple of the girls I'm in, and one of the things that we said tonight is that indecision is a decision. So you need to just decide what you want out of this business, and put the action behind it and get into work.
Yeah, I like that. Indecision is a decision. That's true. Because like if you say, I'm not going to decide right now, well, you just decided that you're not going to decide. So right. You're right. I like that. Thank you, Connie. And congratulations. Almost $1,000 on the Super Bowl.
I know, right?
That is amazing.
And y'all, I've been in this business a long time. That's the first time I've ever done one of those Super Bowl grids. But Jana got me so excited about it when she talked about it that night. I'm like, I am going to do this.
See, Jana inspired you. So
that's right. That's exactly right. You know, this is such a great group, guys. And I think just attending, you are showing us, you know, that you have the willingness to get out there and do something. So now it's just a matter of, you're learning what to do. You know what to do. Now just do it.
That's right. That's right. I love it.
Be brave.
Be brave. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, Sayla, let me add you up here with me. Sayla May.
Hey, everybody. What a great call. I would say just a couple of things. Number one, on your affirmations, make them simple, but be sure you say whatever it is out loud, because your subconscious mind does not know the difference between a true and or false statement. And if you can't think of anything like a long affirmation, I am brave, I am bold, I am confident. All you have to do is say, I am. And you say that enough. Like I say, I am a runner, which I never have been a runner. I tell myself I'm a runner, and I'm a half a marathon in 2 weeks. So, or I am bold. You know, when you're afraid to do something and you say, look, I am bold. I talk to myself like I am another person standing over there. And I just say, I am bold and I can do this, whether it's calling somebody on the phone, or I had some big Valentine's Day sales. And it was kind of the last minute. So part of me was saying, oh, people have already got their gifts, don't bother them. And then I went into Winn-Dixie and they had a jillion gifts. And I thought, okay, you are bold and you are brave and you are going to go home and make some calls. And I sold about $500 at the very last minute, just because I did not let myself wimp out. And the other thing is, even if you feel like you're not brave and you're not bold, you have to weigh the consequence of not doing what you want to do versus what it is that you want to do. And so what if you fail at it? Just do it instead of being so regretful that you didn't. Like, I wish I had, I could have, would have, should have. That is a road to nowhere. So it has been a great, great 6 weeks. Thank you, Cleta. Thank you for everybody for the encouragement. And let's have a great week.
Awesome. Thank you, Sayla. Thank you so much. And you know what's funny about this session is my friend Karen put it out. And you know how sometimes, like the first, I don't know about y'all, maybe I'm different, but like the first time I see something, I reject it. Instead of like automatically accepting everything, I reject first. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't feel like looking at all that. And then I thought, no, why don't you? Why don't you just open that up and read what it is? And why don't you do that? Why do you think people would not benefit from that? So Sayla, I do the same thing. I have to talk to myself and say, no, why are you doing that? And then I'm like, you need to just get yourself together, because you know what? And you know, a lot of people talk out loud to themselves too. So that's okay too. We get a little crazy like that. But you know what? That's right. But you know what? If it works, right? So thank you so much, Sayla. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see on here. I don't want to leave any of my girls out. Okay, I think that's all the directors that are on here tonight. I have a few that are celebrating Valentine's and doing some other things. So, hey, you guys, thank you so much for all the comments. Congratulations to all of you who did it all 6 weeks in a row. As a matter of fact, I'm going to view the gallery right here. So I want you to put up with your hands if you did it all 6 weeks. You did all 6 weeks. All right. I am proud of you guys. That is awesome. You know, just the fact that you did not miss a week and we had a lot of different things going on. I mean, that is really great. So go back over your notes and look at the very first week and what you said and what are the things that you wrote. And then just say, look, you know, I am improving. I am going to be a better Mary Kay beauty consultant and a better person. And I'm going to improve myself so that one day I'm going to be the one teaching other people how to do all that stuff, right? Because, you know, the teacher learns the most. And all week it's in my head. I'm like, be brave, be confident, take action. And it does help you when you just focus on it. So I'm looking forward to the next 6 weeks. I don't know exactly what we're going to be doing, but it's going to be amazing. So we invite you back next Sunday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Central. And I hope you have a great week. Consultants, tomorrow, everybody can order the new products, even if, like right now, if you did your preferred customer program, or if you were a star, you can order all the new products. But tomorrow, everybody can. And then on the 16th, it goes live on our marykay.com websites, like the clinical solutions and everything. Okay. So it's going to be a great month. Concentrate on that clinical solutions and getting some more people on that. I've got people that are on their 3rd week this week. They're so excited. I've been walking them through it, remind them what they're supposed to be doing. And I know some of you are on your 3rd and 4th week too. So we're just going to get younger and younger and younger. So yes, we're going to be babies, Dolores. So you guys have a great one. And thank you again so